I've sold around $130,000 of Lego sets in just the last 6 weeks, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video because the end of every year, the last couple of months right up until holiday season every year, is when Lego selling becomes crazy. This is the period of time when everybody is excited about going out and buying toys, buying stuff for the holidays, buying gifts, and Lego sales volume goes through the roof. So as a Lego investor, I like to buy sets before they retire, and then I like to hold them and then sell them during the crazy busy season. Now, I do sell all year round, but during Q4, the fourth quarter, the holiday period every year, I really do go big and I sell a lot of volume. So this year has been no different. And in the last 6 weeks, we are now in mid-December. And since the beginning of November, during that period is really the busiest time for my sales every year in terms of sales volume. And what sets have I been selling during that time? That is what we're going to get into in this video. I'm going to talk about specific sets that we're selling. I'm going to talk about prices that I bought the sets for. I'm going to talk about prices that I sold them for and rough profits. What does that all look like? A lot of these sets I only held for 1 year. So many Lego investors like to hold sets for longer. They will buy something and store it away for a long time, 3, 4, 5 years. I personally like to sell after just 1 year. That is a big part of my strategy. And so many of these sets we're going to talk about here were sets that I bought just a year ago. And this holiday season, I've been selling them by the bucket load. The other thing that I want to call out here is that I don't only get 1 or 2 units of each of these sets. I get many units of these sets. Some of these sets I got hundreds of. So I'm going to talk about roughly 8 sets, and each of them I got many different units of. So I'll kind of talk a little bit about that as we go through as well. Lego investing for me this year has been very, very successful. I know that in some of the communities, there's people out there saying that it's getting harder over time. I personally have had a very, very good year. I think it's all just about buying the right sets at the right prices. And if it's not going very well for anybody, it basically just means you're either buying the wrong stuff or you're paying too much. But if you can master those 2 skills, my opinion is that you can be very, very successful with Lego investing, with buying Lego sets before retirement, holding them, and then selling them on Amazon or eBay or Walmart or many of the other platforms that are out there. So let's jump in. Let's talk about some of these recent sales that we've been making over the last couple of weeks here in Q4 holiday season 2024. And the first one we're going to talk about is going to be the Jim Lee Art Batman set. So this is one of the Lego art sets. Now, art is an interesting theme because many Lego investors snoozed on this theme and didn't get involved with it. It was a new enough theme a couple of years ago, and so many people kind of didn't want to be the first ones to invest in it. And I think, it hasn't really picked up a lot of steam since then with the Lego investing community. There's been a handful of art sets that have actually been phenomenal investments. World Map has been great. The Beatles was pretty good. Batman has been really, really good. There's been a handful of these that have been really good investments. Now, not all of them have been good investments. We could look at the Marilyn Monroe art set as a big failure, but there have been a handful that have been quite good. The Sith was another one that was actually a pretty good investment. But this one that I made, this was about a year ago that I bought this set. It was in Q4 last year, so just about a year ago, the Art Batman set. Now, I sold these very recently, somewhere around here. I think our selling price was somewhere in the region of $210. So if we're right here, we're looking at a tool called Keepa. This is looking at the Amazon US price because Amazon is where I have been selling a lot of my Lego inventory. Now, in 2025, I will be diversifying into selling on other marketplaces. I'll be talking more about that in my content. But as of this year, I was still mostly selling on Amazon. I'm still allowed to sell on Amazon. I'm still eligible to sell there, but I just like some other marketplaces right now. So I'm going to start to divert some attention. But today we're going to talk about Amazon because that's where my sales have been. So I've been selling on Amazon for the last couple of weeks here in the holiday season. I sold this set somewhere around this price here. It was $210 at the buy box on Amazon. Now, my purchase price for this set was around $90. So bought for $90 about a year ago, sold for $210 recently. And if we zoom out at this here, we can see that $90 price right here on Amazon. That is where I bought my inventory. I was able to get a reasonable amount of units of it. And if we kind of look at that $90, look at that rise in price here when this set sold out. If we zoom in a little bit here, you can see that this was the end of life of this set. It retired right around here. And as soon as it retired, the price on Amazon jumped to 130 bucks. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Jumped to 130, and from there it just kept going up. It hit 187 in January of 2024. So just weeks after retirement, after official retirement. And then by April, this was selling at $220. So then it kind of went flat, and for the rest of the year, we can see it was pretty flat. It's going to start ticking up again now because a lot of the sales volume is picking up. And so all those lowball sellers are all selling out now here in the holiday season. But it has been in and around 210 to 220 since April of this year. So I could have sold after 4 months on this one. My mistake was not selling sooner. But even a 1 year hold time for me is amazing. Like, that's what I aim for. I like 1 year hold time and try to get at least a 70% return on investment. That is exactly around what we achieved with this one, because of course, selling it for 210, we do have to pay fees. We bought it for 90. So doubling our money, we'll be walking away with 180. And after you pay your fees at 210 sale price, we're not that far off. We're a little bit under, I'd say, about the doubling our money, but we're close. And so I'm feeling pretty good about this investment. This was a very good investment. The art set. This was a super heavy set as well. Shipping these to Amazon FBA in a big box, it was insane how heavy, like, you know, even 10 or 20 of these can be. A very, very jam-packed set with so many parts. I love this set as well. It's 4,167 parts, but it could be built in 3 different designs, which can increase demand because some people, big Batman fans, will buy 3 of these to rebuild it in the different designs. Great set. So Batman, Jim Lee, first on this list of recent sales that we've made. Phenomenal investment. Now, the next one we're going to look at here is this one. This is the first botanical set to ever retire. It retired last year at the end of the year. It was Birds of Paradise. Now, this was 10289 was the Lego set here. It was exclusive to Target in the US. So it wasn't one that was like readily available in every retailer. That led to lower supply being out there on the aftermarket. If we look at the retirement happened right around here, end of December last year. It was selling for around 110 at that point. Within weeks, the set went up to almost $200 within, like, by February. Within a month, it was selling for almost double the MSRP of $200. Now, it has been reasonably flat since then with periods of bumps, but it had, like, recently we have seen it at $220. So again, $100 MSRP, recently selling for $220, over double the MSRP. But of course, we don't like to pay full MSRP for stuff. I got these at around $60 because of great deals that I was able to buy the set at. So I paid around $60 for these, for my inventory of this, and sold them for somewhere in the region of $200. It was not far off the $210 that we are seeing recently. So another really good investment there. Similar return as the Jim Lee one, but certainly kind of more than doubling our money on that one, because after you pay your fees, if you bought it for $60, all you need to take back is $120 and you're doubled. But selling it for $210, you're more than double. So it's probably more like 130% return on investment on the Birds of Paradise here, 10289. Phenomenal investment. A lot of the Lego investors that I know did get involved with this set because the Botanical series are some of the best-selling Lego sets of the last couple of years. And this was the first one to retire. So great to see the performance on that one. The next one that we're going to look at here is Thor's Hammer. So this is 76209. And if we zoom out here to look at the yearly view of this, or the like kind of longer term view of this, we can see that it retired right here at the end of 2023. It was another $100 set. I was able to buy these for $70. And we can see here that the price immediately was selling for $170 on Amazon right at around the time that it retired. By March into April, it was selling for over $225 right here. So we can see this was a phenomenal investment. This one just took off like a rocket. Very low supply on it. I was super bullish on Thor's Hammer. I felt like there was a lot of collectability because they were bringing out the Captain America shield, and we had like things like the Infinity Gauntlet. There was kind of a collection starting to build up. The Wolverine Claw, like there was a collection starting to build up where you could see these kind of buildable, like beautiful displayable pieces from the kind of the Avengers series, like the kind of Marvel characters. And there was, you know, an obvious collectability there, which would drive extra demand. I also just really like the design on it. I think they did a really good job of it. It just looks pretty pretty in line with what you want to display on your shelf if you're looking for these types of sets. So super fast rise in the price here throughout the first quarter of 2024. And then it went kind of flat. So we had a pretty flat price for the rest of the year. And then I sold them right here in the holiday season. So I sold mine somewhere in the region of $220 after buying them for $70. So once again, more than doubling on Thor's hammer. Next up, we have, this is an interesting one. Many Lego investors were snoozing on this one as well. This is one that was off the radar for a lot of people, but some of those lower price Technic sets can really catch my attention sometimes. This is one that I was able to get at a very good price. It is the Monster Jam Megalodon 42134, and this was a $20 MSRP. I was able to get him at around $11. So when you're getting this caliber of a set, it's one of those pullback sets, really high collectability, super high demand. If you look at the sales velocity on this before retirement, you could see that this was almost guaranteed to be a strong investment because of how fast the set was selling before retirement, and the supply was just not that high on it. So being able to get them at $11 was the easiest decision in the world. Now, I was able to sell these somewhere in the region of around 36, but if you held them until now, you're doing even better. Right now, it's at 42 on Amazon. So I sold mine in November. Right here is right around when I sold them. You can see the buy box, $37 right there. That's right around when I sold my units. But then it went higher in December. So now it's at 42. So if you bought them at the $11 that I got them at, and then you're selling them at 42, it's just a phenomenal investment at that point. So, yeah, and again, you're not just getting one of these, right? $11 set, you should be able to get kind of a good quantity of these into your inventory. Phenomenal investment, and that is the Monster Jam Megalodon. I also got the other one from last year, the green one. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a similarly strong investment. I got it for the same price, and it was another really strong sale. All right, next up, we're going to look at a Lego Icon set here. I'm trying to mix it up with the different themes here. Lego Icons Winter Village. So the Winter Village series is an interesting one because some of these sets have been really poor investments, and then some others have been strong investments. But most of the time with Winter Village, it depends on your ability to get them at a great price. You can't just go buy these at full price and then expect to make a great return on investment on them. You got to get these at discounts. They don't skyrocket, double it, like sell at double the MSRP within a couple of months because they're seasonal. So Q4 every year, there's a big bump in sales for these Winter Village sets. Of course, the rest of the year, it's very slow. They do sell, but they're very, very slow. As a result, you don't see them hitting like $200, $250 within a year of retirement. You just don't see that. But what you do see is good returns if you can get them at a good price. So for this set, it was $100 MSRP. I was able to get them at $75. So because I bought them at $75, it ended up being a good investment for me. The buy box right now is $165. I sold them somewhere in that region. I sold them in November right here. So it was around $162 or so is what I sold mine at. When you get them for $75, of course, you're selling it for more than double what you paid for it. And even after fees, it was somewhere in the region of a 70 to 80% return on investment, which is exactly in my target range, especially within a 12-month hold time. So it was a good investment for me. Not like a smash hit. It wasn't the best investment ever, but it was a good investment for me because I was able to get them at 75, 25% below the MSRP without paying taxes, plus cash back and stuff, but I'm not even counting that. I just paid like 75 at the retailer, so I probably got more, another 10% on top of that from cashback, credit cards, Rakuten, all that stuff. But I got a pretty reasonable return on investment from the Icons Santa's visit. Next one we're going to look at here is the Jeep Wrangler. This is another Technic set. This was a more kind of a higher price Technic, or like a medium price Technic set. It's a $50 MSRP. But I, of course, didn't pay $50 for this. I was able to get these at half price. Walmart had them for half price for a while last November in Q4 2023. And I was able to get a lot of these at half price as well. So I was able to buy these sets for $25. And it was a $50 MSRP. Now, when I can get a set that I know is going to have strong demand and I can get it for half price, I don't need the set to be the best investment ever. I don't need it to double from the MSRP in the first year or anything like that, because I know that getting it at half price amplifies my ability to make at least a 70-80% return pretty quickly. That doesn't mean that I'm going to buy any set at half price, but when I know that the demand is there, there's some collectability, it's a strong theme that tends to sell well into retirement, and there's not a flood of other substitute sets that people can go to instead of this one. I can tend to get excited about that, and this was a $25 set that I thought was very worth it. So I bought it for $25, and you can see that this actually suffered from what we call in the industry zombie stock. When we say zombie stock, we basically just mean that the retailers didn't sell out when we thought that they would. This set retired at the end of 2023, but as we can see in the Keep It chart here, we have this orange color throughout this year. That means that Amazon still had stock of this set almost all year this year. So that was a zombie. In other words, it refused to die. It retired at the end of last year, but it still was available at MSRP on Amazon.com. And that essentially means that the price will not grow because the aftermarket of Lego sets depends on the retailer selling out. And so if Amazon still have stock, then the afterlife just doesn't start yet. And then we can have what we call a zombie. Now, a zombie is just a little bit annoying, right? Because we like to see the set kind of going up in value very quickly, like we saw with Thor's Hammer, Birds of Paradise, some of these other sets where within 3-4 months we have like a really nice rise in the price. Zombie stock slows that down, and so it can be frustrating. And some kind of newer Lego investors can be really put off by this and kind of think, oh, like if this is going to happen, like it's going to really kind of ruin my return on investment for the year. Reality is, if most of your investments retire when they should and they do great, then it's, we can put up with a couple of zombie sets, right? It's not going to be the end of the world, because if you just wait it out, then when it finally sells out, you will still see that price start to tick up. And if you got it at a good enough price, you will still make a good return on investment. This is an example of that. This set lasted on Amazon until September 2024. 9 months after the set should have retired, it was still in stock on Amazon. However, right after it sold out, we can see within about a month, the set had been selling for $70 right here. So the price, the buy box right there had ticked up to $70 by mid-October. And if you bought it for $25, at that point, you're selling it for $70. You're more than doubling your money, right? So regardless of the set being a zombie stock and Amazon having stock of it until September, if you got it at a good enough price, and after Amazon finally sell out, it just rises a little bit from a $50 MSRP up to $70, you're more than doubling your money because you got it at such a good price. So this is the name of the game, folks, right? It's not stressing too much about zombie stock. It's making sure that you are focusing on your ability to get the inventory at a really good price. Because if you can get it at a really good price, you are in the clear. Even if I wanted to sell this at MSRP, I would have still been in the green because I paid $25 for it. So even if I sold it for $50 while Amazon were still in stock, because you can do that, by the way, you can compete with Amazon, you will get some sales. If I listed this even when Amazon were still in stock at $50, I would have sold them, because Amazon will keep the buy box for a lot of the time, but they do rotate it in bits, and you will sell your inventory even if Amazon are in stock, just a bit slower. And you can't go higher of a price than them. Like, you got to match their price. But if I matched their price, I would have sold my inventory and I would have made money because I paid $25 for it. So after fees, I would have probably made $10 a unit, which is still pretty good, right? You pay $25 a unit, you make $10 a unit. Show me a stock that you can do that in consistently, right? Lego investing, even in the bad scenario right there, can be good if you buy the inventory at such a good price. But I prefer to wait for Amazon to finally sell out, and then the price goes from $50 to $70. And then you go from making $10 a unit to over doubling your money. That is an example with zombie stock, right? So another great investment was this Jeep, the Jeep Wrangler, set number 42122. The next one we're going to look at is Winnie the Pooh. Now, this is an interesting one. People inside of my membership community just love to laugh about this set because last holiday season, this set was available very briefly for $50. Right now on Amazon, it is selling for $160. So it's triple what some people were able to pay for this. You could have got it for $50. Now, it was only available at $50 for somewhere around 3 minutes during one of Walmart's early deal drops. And many people didn't get time to get in and buy it for $50. So it has become a bit of a meme in the Lego investing community because that was a very good price to get a very good set for. Again, right now, almost $160 at the buy box, triple what those people paid for it. I unfortunately did not get it for 50. I paid 75 for my inventory of Winnie the Pooh. Still a good price. It was $100 MSRP. I got it for 25% off plus cashback and stuff. So it was really probably more like 70 average buy-in. And I was able to sell them for somewhere in the region of 150. I sold them in November. So if we look at this price right here, we're seeing, 152, 153, bouncing between 153 and 160. And I sold them right in that range during November. And so buying them for 75, selling them for 160 or 155, you're selling it for more than double what you bought for it. Even after fees, you're talking about at least a 50 to 60% return on investment, which within a year, it's still phenomenal, right? Not quite what I was, not quite what I was hoping for, because when I bought them for 75, I had a feeling it would go to 200. Now it might still go to 200. In fact, if we zoom in on the last couple of weeks right here, we can see there were periods where this went to 170. So we can see that 170 right there, and actually it looked like it even went a little bit higher very, very briefly, 182 right there. So it's been hitting 182 very briefly in December. After this December, we're going to have a lot of these units sold out. This price is going to start going up again. I could see it being at 200. I've sold out of all my inventory now. I'm still happy with my sales. I was hoping I would be able to double my money on it. I still think it was a phenomenal investment. Buying them for 75, selling them for somewhere in the region of 155. Still great, right? Still great. So Winnie the Pooh, another great investment that I'm happy with. Next one we're going to look at is going to be Venom. So again, switching up some of the themes here. This was a Marvel set, one of those helmet series for Marvel, based on Venom, of course. They also had Carnage that I also did a really good return on investment on the previous year, I think it was. But Venom, Carnage was exclusive to Target, so it was easier bet. Venom was available everywhere. In fact, not only was it available everywhere, but it was heavily discounted a lot as well. I was able to get them somewhere around $42 a unit. And I think I got some for even lower than that. And it was a $60 MSRP, but you could get them discounted a lot. So I was buying these for 42, but right now at the buy box, they're 115 on Amazon in the US. So you're talking about another great investment. Now, why was this so good? If it was so readily available and it was, in all the retailers and it was discounted a lot and stuff, we didn't have supply problems while this set was available. Why was it such a good investment? Demand. Like demand on this set. You could just tell, you could just look at this set before it retired. You could look at this set and a picture of this set next to the Carnage set and the Spider-Man helmet mask, and you could just say the collectability, the demand on this set is not going anywhere, right? When this set retires, people are going to still want it for years to come, and they will be going to Amazon and eBay and Walmart and everywhere else, and they will be buying this set for a long, long time. That is why I invested in this set, because of the demand. It was all about the demand for me. I looked at this set and I just thought, this is a hot seller into the future. And when you feel that way, when you feel strongly like that, then you could be looking at a very, very good investment. Not always, and it does take a couple of years to build up that kind of gut instinct. But when you see strong collectability across sets that are designed very, very well, have really good ratings by fans, a lot of sales rank on Amazon, like really good fast-moving sales velocity, they're all really, really good indicators. This was a set that I just felt very, very strongly about the prospect of this set. As we can see throughout this year, Amazon were even back in stock here at an inflated price. In fact, was 70 the MSRP on this? No, it was maybe it was 70 was the MSRP, not 60. So getting them at 42 was even better. I'm pretty sure this was a $70 MSRP. You can see right here, Amazon were in stock during this year, post-retirement. Like after retirement, Amazon still had some stock of it for 2 months here, or about, almost 2 months at the MSRP, but we still had a massive climb in the price for the first half of the year. By July, it peaked at about $100, which is not the biggest jump because, again, it was a $70 MSRP, but if you're getting it for 42, it's pretty good. But during Q4, we've seen a real nice ramp. We can see right here when the supply starts to come down, we can see a very, very quick climb in the price right here. And in the last, week, we've seen it selling for 115. So that is almost double the MSRP. It's still not quite double the MSRP, and I think next year we'll see even better performance on this. But if you got it at a discount, which hopefully you did, and I was paying 42 for this set, when you're selling them for somewhere in the region of 115, you're probably doubling your money, right? So another really strong investment is the Venom mask set 76187. And then we will also quickly mention a modular, because everyone loves the modular buildings. It is probably one of the things that got me interested in Lego investing for the first time, was thinking about the modular buildings of old and how they've done as retirement or in retirement. This was the police station. This was one of the modulars that I've been selling recently, because last year when this set retired, it has been just taken off like a rocket ever since then. It was a $200 MSRP. It retired at the end of 2023. You can see the climb, right? If we zoom in here on November, it was selling for $200. And by the end of December, it was selling for $340. Within a month of selling out on Amazon, or a month and a half, before the set had even officially retired, it was selling for $340. But even if you bought the set for full price, paid $200 for it, you're profitable at that point. But if you got it at a discount, you're doing really well at that point, right? With no hold time. You can sell it immediately if you wanted to for that kind of price. And if we look at the rest of this year, we did in the middle of the year, it got up to $380. Now it has come back down, and recently it's been around $350, but it did peak at $380 during the summer. So you can see, a set that was $200, if you sold it for $380, you're making somewhere in the region of 50% return. You'll pay Amazon your, $70 or $80 at that point, because higher priced sets, you do pay Amazon a good fee. But you'll still make $100 a unit, right? So if you got 10 of these, you just made yourself $1,000 within a couple months. So a really, really solid return. Now, that is if you paid full price. Imagine if you got them at a big discount. I bought my sets of this. Now, not all of them. Some of them I paid a little more. But I bought a lot of units of this for about $140. So because there was a period during Black Friday where the set, in fact, we can see it right here. If we zoom in, right here, 150. Yeah, so 150 minus 5% because I get 5% back on my Amazon credit card. I bought a lot of inventory of this right here. The other funny thing about that is many people had unlimited quantity limits on that day. So people inside of my community were able to buy as many of these as they wanted for $150. That is about 25% off on a really, really good investment. So if you bought it for $150, plus you got cash back on your Amazon credit card, and then you sold it for the $380 or whatever, a couple of months later, 7 months later, you're talking about a phenomenal investment at that point. You're going to be more than doubling your money on the police station. I've been selling a lot of them recently, more at the $350 price, so I did miss out on that peak of the $380. I didn't sell during the summer, but even at $350, I'm happy with that return because, again, I bought a lot of them for $150. So I'm happy with that return. If I wait longer into next year, I do expect this is one of those sets that will have a strong year too. We will see the price climb more. I just wanted to get my money back so I could reinvest and I could, just kind of move it out after a year. So that was my decision. So this was 9 different examples of Lego sets that I held for just a year that I bought at the end of 2023 and then have been selling recently for really good returns on investment. What I love so much about Lego investing is that if you are able to buy stuff at a really low price, like what we saw with the Jeep Wrangler when I got it for half price, even if you can't sell it at double the MSRP, you can still do quite well because you just wait a little while until all the inventory sells out. And then even if it goes up a little bit from $50 to $70, then you can still do really well because you bought it at such a good price. Lego investing is where you can do stuff like that, where you can just wait a little bit longer if you need to, or where you can learn how to get really good prices on the inventory so you can manufacture amazing return on investments from scratch. And that is why I love this game so much. So this was some examples of my recent sales. I'm excited to continue to sell until everything is sold out. I'm still making sales right now today, but it's been an amazing couple of weeks for me, and I'm excited for another amazing year of 2025. On the buying side of my business, I've been going crazy as well for the last couple of weeks. I've been buying like crazy, building up more amazing inventory of amazing sets so that this time next year, I'm making another video like this talking about more crazy good return on investments that I've made on retiring Lego sets. That is what I do every year to create an extra income in my life. I love it. I hope you do too. And by the way, if you want to learn more about how to pick the right sets to invest in, I wrote an entire book about just that. I spilled all my secrets into this book, and you can get it completely for free right now just for taking a test drive of my Inner Circle community. So you can get a free month of the community. You can learn from all the other Lego investors. You can join us on our live calls where we talk about what we're selling, what we're buying, and everything. You can also get the book completely for free just for test driving the Inner Circle. So you can get the link in the description down below if you want to grab that. I definitely think you're going to love it in there. And with that, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your support this year in 2024. It has been a phenomenal year. I'm looking forward to hearing all of your success stories next year in 2025. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Shane from brickbucks.net, and makes this your year to lift off and be free.